So, Katie, thanks for joining me. I appreciate you taking the time to be able to share more about your coaching experience for your son. So, if you could just give parents a bit of an idea what kind of challenges he was going through that caused you to then start looking.
Oh, initially it was his inability to sort of regulate his emotions, and he would get angry over the smallest things that didn't need to be, reacted to in that way. Lack of confidence as well within himself in social situations, like put him on a stage, singing, playing the drums, things like that, fine. But when it comes to sort of knowing how to act, I suppose, in a bigger group of people, and I think this probably comes with him being an only child, he definitely struggled with that as well.
Yeah. And that's an interesting point about confidence. It fluctuates. So he's a great drummer and that's his space. But like you say, putting him in a different situation, then of course that's where his lacking confidence has come from. Yeah. But also in sort of the wider social aspects, that can be really difficult for young people. So it was great that you were looking for support and found Champs Academy. And sort of just give me a bit of an idea about your experience from getting in touch initially to then having some coaching for your son.
I think what I definitely noticed is that he would even say to me, "Hang on, Mum, I need to go and do my breathing exercises." And he would physically do the things that you'd suggested would help him. And he does do that. And then eventually it got to the point where it didn't stop him getting angry as such, but it was far less angry, and he's much quicker to come out of it now. Instead of staying in a grump all day, hood over his, speaking in grunts, he's more willing now to talk about it and realise that it probably wasn't the best way to have dealt with what had happened. So, I mean, it's not perfect. It's still a work in progress, but there's a definite improvement in that.
That's great. And sort of any positive improvements or examples that you've noticed more recently?
I think with friendships at school, and because he transitioned into secondary school, and he was really determined to sort of get in with the football boys and the rugby boys, even though they're not his particular areas of talent. I mean, but that's fine if he wants to do them. But when he struggled with that again affected his confidence. But after his sessions with you, he learned to accept that his two best friends at school are both girls. And all three of them are so different, but they get on so well. And I was like, there's no rules. It's fine. He just needed almost somebody outside of his family to confirm that that's okay and realise that everyone's different. And if his two best friends are girls at the minute, it's fine. It doesn't matter. So that's definitely helped him.
That's helpful. And it really doesn't matter who you surround yourself with, as long as you can call them friends. And they're,
exactly. And they're great when they come over. It's much easier having girls over to stay than boys. Much less noisy.
Nice, yeah. And when it comes to sort of maybe giving some advice to parents or any sort of things that you've noticed from the point of view where you noticed your son was struggling and then you sort of search for support, what kind of advice or guidance would you give to them?
Obviously, you have to do quite a bit of research and make sure that, because if you're going to pay for something, you want to make sure it's going to have an impact. And I think after reading about Champs Academy and then speaking to you and sort of looking at what you've done in the past, and particularly your understanding and knowledge and expertise on autism and children who are neurodivergent. Although Hugo doesn't have a diagnosis, he definitely shows autistic traits, and it's really, really useful for you to understand that. And I know that you speak to him about different strategies and things, but without making it obvious that it's because he's different.
Yeah.
It's just you put that across really well as it's a normal way of dealing with it, which it is. It's just that society can be harsh.
Yes. As I always say, we're not a textbook, we're not put in a box, so it's helpful to adapt. And I'm really pleased that you've found that experience for your son. And we continue as well. As you mentioned, it's a work in progress. You know, the sort of teenage years is tough, and there's so many just different transition points for them, and life is complex. So I'm really pleased that he's had such a positive experience. Yes, it's about keeping it going. Yes. And I look forward to keeping that going and keeping in touch as well. So thanks for sharing your thoughts.
No problem. Thank you.